So I'm Claire Young. I had an idea to start knitting because of my mental illness. My psychologist suggested I tried knitting to alleviate my symptoms. So last Christmas I knitted an angel. I was then 50 last year and thought, well, I can't do it for myself. I need to raise money for somewhere. Obviously for me the choice was the hospice when my husband died, so I wanted to raise £500 in his memory. I made £1,300 by knitting angels, Easter baskets, Easter bunnies. Then we got the idea to yarn bomb a tree up here from the receptionist partner. So I gathered 25 of us together. We worked on it for quite a few months. We yarn bombed the tree in the centre of the roundabout up at the hospice with 4 seasons, so each branch was a different season. We had a fairy door, all the sky up to dark and the night with moon and stars and everything. Did it as a secret, so that everyone came to work the next day and found that we'd done it. Got quite a lot of social media interest from that. Showed my friend who is head of commercial at Malvern, and she said, could you knit me a garden in 2 weeks for the spring show? So I said, no. Then she said, all right, I'll give you 14 months, can you knit me a garden? So I thought, oh, this is going to be really, really hard. She said it was 3 metres by 3 metres.
Yeah.
Turns out it's 4 metres by 4 metres. So almost a year later, we're nearly done with it. We're knitting a 4 metre by 4 metre show garden, which is a hospice bedroom, but it's a garden. So it has grass on the floor, but it's knitted, wallpapers on the wall, and a bedroom with a bed in. And there's quite a twist on it. So we've got welly boots with flowers in, vegetables out of chest of drawers, and we're hoping to raise £50,000 for the hospice because Ken would have been 50 in June.
How many people have you got involved now in knitting your garden?
We must be up to about 350 people by now, with many community groups throughout the county and now beyond actually are knitting for us. That's probably a conservative estimate because I don't know everybody in each group, but we must be up to about 350 people.
Wow.
Which is just mind-blowing. We've got WIs, knitting groups, care homes have been knitting for us. Everybody seems to have heard of us, and it's been completely overwhelming actually. The response to it is kind of a bit too big for me to handle, but I'm well supported and I'm a bit better at it than I was. Like being interviewed, I'd never done that before, but you know, I've dug deep and I'm doing it, and we do hope we will raise £50,000, but who knows.
Fantastic.
Oh look, someone's got a
very nice. We can guess by the colour wall.
These are very special ones to me. This one here, I asked Huckle Coat Crochet to recreate my wedding bouquet. We only had one, we only married for 60 months before Ken died, and so I gave them a photograph of my bouquet, and they all worked on it collectively to do that one. This one of my chief knits, Dawn, made, because lavender has healing properties, so we wanted to incorporate healing properties and sensory smells into the garden. It's called the Chief Knits pot because 3 of us are the chief knits in it. This one is Long Levens Library, who are also one of our groups. They freewheeled and could do what they wanted, chose daffodils, and then they put a library card as their sign on the outside, and pom-poms, because they had children making pom-poms in the library, and then they've added little bugs and things. So at the show we're hoping to have a competition for children. How many bugs, ladybirds can you see in the garden? So to keep them interested when their parents are hopefully looking at my garden. And then as you'll see, Gnome is in there as well, who now travels with me everywhere. He was donated to the hospice to give to me, so he hasn't got a name. We're having a sort of a name the gnome competition, and wherever I go, he now follows me. I wanted it to be a community project and an evolving project, so I had an architect who designed the plans for me and we talked it through. And I wanted, heart obviously was important to me because I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love here and love Ken. So I wanted it to look different every day as an art installation. So I started the concept of, if we all knitted hearts, people could come to the show, pick a heart that meant something to them, whether it was a favourite colour of their loved one or favourite football team, didn't really matter what, donate towards the hospice and then place their heart in the tree and thinking of their loved one when they did it. So that's kind of had a legs of its own really. We estimated we needed 10,000 hearts. So far through the post I've had 5,000, and we know there are hundreds more because people are contacting us through social media to tell us they've made them. What I wasn't expecting, which is the bit that's been quite tricky, is people are knitting in memory of a loved one. So not only are we going to be providing them for people to register their grief to somebody, people are knitting through their grief, and it's almost like I've given them permission to do that, which wasn't a side of the project I thought. I'm grieving, I'm only 29 months in, that's where I started it, was for my grief, but I'm actually gathering a whole group of people. It's become almost a bereaved to bereaved project, which none of us could have predicted. So we've had to, be careful to look after me because of my mental health. But it is quite extraordinary to see these people who have never admitted they're grieving, writing me letters. I've kept every single one in a scrapbook, and it's a real, very personal project. It's become way more than I could have ever expected. We didn't know. I thought I needed 100 knitters. How naive was I? I mean, we've now got, must be 4 times that, and I know we've got a lot more still to do. So it's just somehow has captured people, and all these community groups have got in touch because it's for a purpose. And I think you can't argue with someone's story like mine when, I'm young, I lost my husband young, and people relate to that. And so, again, it's just given people permission to show their grief and also learn to knit. We've had so many people who are learning to knit just because they've seen the project, and we're getting all sorts of parts through the post, which is amazing, of people who've taught themselves, and that's just quite extraordinary. Shows the power of knitting.
Absolutely.
And crochet, we mustn't forget the crochet.
So the grant that you had from Barnwood towards this project, what was that used for?
We've used it to buy the wallpaper. Obviously that's wool, but it's wallpaper, it's lilac and cream, and the grass. So it's 1,300 squares of knitting have been done. They're all done, ready to be sewn together. So that grant enabled us to get the infrastructure done, and then we've had donations of all since. But the main infrastructure, when you come to the show you'll see, is from the Barnwood Sparks grant.
Do you remember how you heard about the Barnwood Small Sparks grant?
Longlevens, Knit and Natter.
Okay.
The first place I'd ever spoken in public. I went to talk to them because they'd heard about me, and it was their chief librarian Jane that said, have you heard about Barnwood Trust? Because you have mental health issues, I'm sure you'll get help. And that's how I had never even heard of you, and that's how the whole thing started.
So you had the Small Sparks grant for towards the knitting project, and then have you had any other contact with the trust?
Then I got offered that grant, and then Gail, who contacted me, said if you ever need anything in the future, don't forget you also are eligible. So they sent Sue to see me, and I was given money towards a weighted blanket to help relieve my anxiety, yoga lessons, because yoga is the thing that keeps me sane. I go weekly. So I've had 12 sessions of yoga, which I'm still in the process of using, and my weighted blanket, which means I now sleep all night. But it has been, at times, I have an overwhelm button, and I think, oh man, I can't do this anymore. But the hospice are great. I'm well supported. My psych team are keeping me propped up, and so that's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's given me a real good purpose.
Yeah.
And look at what good can come out of it. I mean, just even these 3 pots, it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah. No, beautiful.
And they're so it's particularly from your angle. Helco Crochet have had a grant from you. Longlevens have had a grant from you. That's what's just so amazing. So when you two have been to see me and you've mentioned all these different people, it's like, oh yeah, we're knitting from you already or whatever. But I don't want people to think it comes easily, because I think some people could look at it and think, oh yeah, it's easy for her, but none of this is easy. Today isn't easy, and it takes a lot from me. But it feeds my soul to have these people who are being helped because of me. I messaged one of the old knitters from the yarn bombing yesterday, asking if she could machine knit for me, and she said, oh, you have no idea how you've helped me. You've come just at the right time, and I was feeling, a bit down, and that's just great.
Isn't that wonderful?
So really, we've got to carry it on afterwards, because, some good is coming of it.
Yeah.
So I have to find some other big challenge.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, but if you asked me to stand in front of a camera just for me, I really wouldn't like it. But it's because for a cause, it's different, isn't it? And that's where power comes, I think. I would have said, this time last, my Facebook memory came up, and I did Easter baskets 12 months ago. Really? To raise £500.
Wow.
So in 12 months, look what has been achieved, the yarn bombing and this. So who knows in another year? And it is helping me, because it gives me a focus, and we will get there in the end.
Fantastic.
So it is all quite mad. But it is just, can you imagine what it's going to look like?